Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the latest edition of the Auburn Blitz. Brett and Randy here on this Tuesday afternoon with you. Brought to you by Mortgage Pro there at McKinley Team, Big Fish Real Estate Group at Lake Martin, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, and J.E. Smith Construction, both residential and commercial. We'd love to hear from you today on the program. You can comment throughout the program on Facebook Live, Sports Blitz, Sports with a Z. You can find us there, or you can call us, 256-234-6221. The phone lines are open. Had a lot of great comments yesterday, kicking off the week. Randy will talk a lot about some of the stuff that we discussed yesterday. Also, a lot of other stuff coming down the pipe. And when I saw this, I thought of you, and I thought about this could have been Auburn, and we could kind of see, and who knows what the master plan is. We're going to talk about Deion Sanders and, man, the crowd that showed up at Colorado's game, but, man, there may not be a team left to pull for by the time this is over with. 41 guys have entered the transfer portal since he showed up, so I know he's cleaning up, but, man, you know, getting down to the nitty-gritty where you don't have a lot of players to pick from, so we're going to talk about that. SEC contemplating, more harsh penalties for teams that storm the court and or fans that storm the court and storm the field. So we'll kind of wait and see how that plays out. We'll talk about what some of those might look like. You know, Auburn football, we talked about the recruiting side of things and some of the low-hanging fruit that has been around Auburn for a long time that they haven't taken advantage of, but obviously, this new coaching staff and some of these assistants are making some of the schools in close proximity to Auburn a priority, which you wouldn't thought would have been a no-brainer, but it wasn't in the last two administrations. That's going to change, and we'll talk about some of those players. You know, obviously, Chaney Johnson being picked up by Auburn this past week. We'll talk some about him, and then, man, Alabama with another player that they recruited out of the transfer portal, and now is no longer not going to be part of the team because more guns, more drugs, more stuff. You'd think we'd start learning a little bit about life lessons and things, especially at Alabama, right after what they've just been through, and this kid gets caught with pot and guns with some other guys. I mean, we'll talk more about that, Randy, but good to see you here on this Tuesday.
Here comes Sun. Sun's Automotive, the name synonymous.
Well, you look down the list of what you've got us to go through, and, it kind of is what it is. Some of these I don't know that any of us have the answer to, and we can bounce off ideas. And I have gotten to the point in my life where I thought earlier on in my life I may have a few answers, and I may be able to lead us to some brighter days. And I could be the one that's out there in the forefront, maybe in front of this camera and in front of a mic that is getting through to the younger generation. And I have gotten to the point in my life where I don't know that I have any answers. And that becomes a disappointing time in your life, I guess. And I think everybody probably reaches that point unless they just have a much stronger outlook on life than I have currently. It's not life. It's not, just a stronger outlook on people. I'll never forget. I'll say this, and I say this to people that I talk to about business. My granddad, when I went into business for the first time, he looked at me and he said, "Son, you better brace." I said, "Brace for what?" "The idiots you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life."
Yeah.
He said, "You better brace." He said, I think you've been sheltered. I don't think you have any earthly idea how bad people can be." And I said, "Well, no, I'm going to I can deal with people. People, for the most part, have good in their heart. They know good, and they've been around good. And it took me about 5 years to realize, like I have on most things so far in my life, that my granddad knew exactly what he was talking about, and I should have taken his advice to heart a little bit earlier than I actually did. But it's taken to heart now, I tell you that.
You learn from it, and I think that's what you look at, and some people can be told and they can be shown, but a lot of times you have to learn the hard way. We'll dive into that, and that's Jaquan Walton I was talking about transferring from Wichita State over to Alabama right after Alabama has been through all this stuff. They just went through and basically the second half of the basketball season dealing with the Brandon Miller and all the Darius Miles and all this junk, and it was in the news every day, and I think ultimately affected the way they played on the court and ultimately ended their season. I think that had a dramatic impact on the way they played coming down the stretch. But we'll dive into that a little bit later on if you got a comment or question on that. I want to bump back up to Deion Sanders to start the program, and it was remarkable, the shot of the stadium last year versus this year. I mean, it had 1,500 and something people there last year at their spring game. Had, what'd they have, 50,000 there?
Looked like it.
Packed. Well, it was no seats available. So however many seats that stadium holds is how many people were there. But the bigger topic is how many players are leaving. And not just guys that aren't, that you go in and, okay, I don't want to deal with this guy. This is a different culture. I'm leaving or whatever. Some of these guys that are leaving are some of the guys I think he was counting on. One being Montana Lamonius Craig, who Auburn just offered in the transfer portal. He caught 3 touchdowns at 156 yards in the spring game Saturday, Randy. This is a guy that emerged as a top dog, and he said, no, I'm out of here. 41 guys have gotten in the portal since he had his first meeting, since he got on campus. 41 players.
What do I think?
Yeah.
Okay, can I start with Craig first?
Yeah.
I don't want him. Are you kidding me? You're going to go through a whole spring practice with a man that has been around football pretty much his whole life and has groomed people and teams to do what he did, that he just left. Now, they just won a lot of football games. Got his son at quarterback.
Yep.
Got everything going in a positive direction where you probably going to put some crazy numbers up on the board next year.
Yeah.
And you're going to go and transfer portal.
That's the thing that makes this odd. Why would a guy that had that much success, and I think when he came in, I mean, I don't know how much of an opportunity, didn't have a chance to get in the portal until now. Think about it that way. The portal window had closed by the time Deion Sanders got there the first time, so the kid couldn't get in the portal. But
he goes through spring and he has 3 touchdowns in the spring game. Then he gets in the portal.
So he would be the last guy you would think that would get in the portal. Something's up there. 41 kids, though, man.
41 kids, I'm not surprised with. I mean, Deion Sanders knows an athlete when he sees one. He's one of the best ones. He's like asking.
He's got to have some players put on the field.
Well, Auburn's in that situation, Brett. My gosh, we still got to go find 4 offensive linemen to piecemeal a team together. The beauty of today's world is the transfer portal.
Right.
And there's a lot of people out there that are going to be in that transfer portal that look in those stands and see 50 to 60,000, and they know how much. I don't think
Auburn was losing any of their players that you thought. Auburn's losing some players in the transfer portal that you thought.
Jeffrey Emba. You think
what did he do? He never did squat last year and really didn't get on the field much at all and was making a few advances in the spring. But what do you have? 7 tackles? I mean, this kid caught. What did he catch last year? 40-something balls? I mean, the quarterbacks they had out there. What I'm saying is that it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for him. I know he's trying to clean house. I know he's trying to get rid of the guys that feel like they don't belong in that program. He's got to go out. But, man, he's leaving himself in a lurch to the point to where who you going to put on the field? You can't have an 85 scholarship, guys.
Well, I think you're at a program. Look, I'm not going to say anything negative about him. I think that the guys got to have some time to clean up a nightmare. When's Colorado been arrested?
They've been terrible. They've been terrible.
They're terrible. And now within a short period of time, he's got us in the state of Alabama. They've got all the Auburn and Alabama football that we want to talk about. You know who we're talking about starting our Auburn Blitz show on today? Deion Sanders.
Yeah. How many people are leaving this program?
How many people are leaving this program, but also how many people showed up to a spring game in Colorado?
Well, they did show up because there is a lot of hype around.
There's a lot of hype, and hype brings
I'm talking about who is he going to put on the field.
Well, I mean, I don't think that those 50 to 60,000 showed up because they were wondering who they're going to put on the field. I think they showed up because
have a team in the fall.
I think if he goes 2-10 the first year, and which he won't, with his son at quarterback at Colorado, they won't go.
They'll be 500.
They'll be 500, and within a couple of years, they're going They're going to put a winner out there.
I understand. I'm not saying that he didn't have to have time. That's not where I'm going with it. I'm saying that that's a lot of people to leave, man. You lose 14.
What do you
15.
think? You got an answer on why you think he's coaching them too hard? He's a little too tough on them?
I don't know. I hadn't heard.
Well, I'm speculating. I mean, this isn't a guy that they put mics in front of him all the time.
Right.
If you wonder what he's thinking, ask him. He'll tell you.
I'm just saying that when you have a guy like this guy that's got about 30 offers now and 30 big offers because he performed. I mean, that would be a guy, if I'm Deion Sanders, I'm like, okay, I got to have this guy. I mean, we ain't got very many players to begin with, but why would that kid want to leave? That's the odd thing.
Okay, well, then I'm asking you, why would we want a kid that's willing to leave after that?
I don't know. I mean, you don't know his story, man. I don't either.
I know enough of somebody.
I don't know a continental thing about Montana Lamonius Craig and why he decided to leave a program. Maybe there isn't any ill will there. Maybe it's just I had to get through spring. The portal window's open. I finished my deal. Now I'm going to go explore my options. I don't know anything about the kid to make a judgment on him. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a piece of crap.
It's my job sitting in the state of Alabama knowing nothing like you to just sit on here and be a talking head and speculate. If he threw him 3 touchdown passes in the spring game, he was expecting a lot out of him come the fall. Would you agree with that?
I would think so.
And for you to have a coach and a quarterback expect a lot of you coming in the fall for me to, and then you up in the next day and leave?
Don't have an answer.
To me, it tells me a lot about your character, is what I would say.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. There's going to be a lot that probably comes out in the next year or two with how that program's run and what the changes he makes, whether they're positive or negative, whatever. I don't know why the kid did it. That's what I'm saying. I don't have an answer for it. Up against the first break of the show, stay tuned. More Auburn Blitz right after this.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin. Daikin. Comfort for life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
SCAG, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that SCAG means productivity and reliability. Every SCAG mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. SCAG.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. 45 minutes left in today's show. Get your calls in, get your comments in. We'd love to hear from you out there. I know we talked about it there. Anthony said about Colorado, it's interesting how Colorado is changing, but yet Nebraska still has sellout crowds at every football game. So
that's different programs. You don't talk about.
They ain't been. You talking about no good though. Nebraska's been
still though
close to about as bad as Colorado's been.
That's well. I don't know. It's about like comparing Kentucky basketball to Auburn. You know, it takes the right person. Auburn's got Deion Sanders and Bruce Pearl,
right? So
he can sell that. But Kentucky basketball, as long as you don't screw that up completely,
well, they've been screwing
which Nebraska's done. Well, they've been a decent winner over the years. I'd have to pull their record. They haven't played for championships, but
that's not what the expectations of their fans are. The level of football since Frank Solich walked out the door hadn't been nowhere near. I mean, Nebraska was the dynasty in the 90s, Randy. That wasn't that long ago, man. I mean, you think about.
Well, it's Tennessee. They're a lot like Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee's
worse than Nebraska. Look at their records. I promise you, Nebraska's got.
They both programs have fallen off.
Think about the years that Homewood's running back. I can't remember his name. It's not coming to my mind. But you and I called a couple of his games. Yeah, Abdullah.
Yeah.
You know, those years that they had him and was it Berkwich or they had another running back there, white kid that was a really good running back. Yeah. They won in 10 games a year. They just couldn't win the big one. But they were a 9 or 10 win a season team. I grew up in Nebraska watching Nebraska the same as you did in the 80s and 90s. I know what they were. But they haven't fallen completely off the map. But it's a program that's just sitting out there. It's kind of like Indiana in basketball.
Now, Colorado had deteriorated to the point where nobody was even showing up to the game.
But it has never really, other than a stretch. It's about like Auburn basketball under Sonny Smith. Colorado football is that. You go to that like late 80s, early 90s stretch. Late 80s, early 90s stretch. They were really good. Yep. They had Cordell Stewart and some other really good players. Eric Bieniemy, we can keep going down the list. But outside Rasheem Salam, I mean, they've had some really good players. But since then, man, they've been pitiful. They've been terrible for a long, long time. So, and they weren't any good before then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not Nebraska. Nebraska's been great since the program started.
Yeah, but you know, again, I think what Anthony's saying, Colorado may be trying to flip the script, and I know we talked about the number of players, and really what my whole point is, he's going to change the culture, and you want people that are bought into his system, but, I mean, from a sheer volume, we haven't seen this many leave a program at one time since the portal's been around.
And I know it's a different sport, but it was also a different time when Bruce Pearl came in. Think back about then. I mean, he came into a terrible situation with pretty much no squad. He goes out there that first year and he gets KT Harrell and some others.
Right.
Man, we weren't going to field a basketball team.
That's what
that
LSU's
year.
been faced with right now.
So. I mean, Deion, I think, is in that same position where if I'm going to lose ball games, I want to lose it with some guys that I can build up that's got the talent to do what I expect them to do in 2 or 3 years, rather than a bunch of, no good players that have been here for a couple of years and I ain't nothing I can do to make them much better. I'd rather just move on too.
Yeah, he's going to have his hands full this year, but we'll see what kind of progress they make. Again, you might not see it in the wins as far as on the wins losses, but you'll definitely see if the program's going in the right direction. SEC contemplating severe penalties for storming the field or the court, up to the point they already get fined. Teams get fined, but up to the point where you could possibly lose a home game the next year on the schedule. I mean, they may go, all right, we're going to take this home game away, or you're going to have to travel to them now because you stormed the field. I thought that was pretty eye-opening when I read it last night.
I don't understand it. I mean, why, unless the schools and the athletic directors of the schools went to the SEC and said, we need y'all's help. Y'all have got to be the one to come out and say this, so it's not us individually having to say this. I could see that, because nobody wants this to happen. I know there's liabilities, but my point is, what is the SEC's liability?
Nobody.
Like, if Auburn storms the field and somebody gets hurt, who's liable? Isn't it Auburn?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we know how lawsuits work.
I guess so.
I mean, who does Auburn play under? The SEC, right? The thing goes all the way to the top, man.
But when you talk about football, the money's not going to the SEC in football, is it? I mean, most of that money's generated from March Madness for basketball, correct?
Well, what are you talking about?
SEC, the way that they're funded.
Yeah, the SEC is funded by TV.
I'm talking about NCAA,
it's
SEC.
Funded by, the football side is funded by all the TV contracts.
But it's not ticket sales.
Not necessarily. No.
It's not things going on.
The
inside
SEC
that.
allots, and they divide up the money that they get from all the contracts and divvy it out to the universities.
And I'm talking about the NCAA on the first. But my point, though, still is that people that are showing up to an Auburn football game, none of that funding's going to the SEC, correct?
I don't know what they pay in. I mean, I don't know how that works. I mean, that's a question. I don't know. I just know that as a member institution, and the way the TV rights and the contracts are signed, that everybody gets equal pay, based on whatever that. If it's $200 million, they divide it by 14, which is way more than that, by the way. But I'm just using that as a hypothetical example. I don't know how the pay structure goes, but I do know how lawsuits work, and I know that somebody that wants to sue somebody, they'll sue all the way to the daggum top. So, but that's interesting. It's got to be. Nobody listens to the PA announcer when they go, hey, by the way, after the game, nobody on the playing surface. If you have a kick six or somebody hits a last second shot, like or you knock off a number one team, fans are probably going to storm the court. Fans are probably going to storm the field. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't know from a standpoint of, does that make a guy in the stands less likely to run out on the field thinking that his team might have a home game loss last year? I don't know that really changes. You think it does?
Yeah. They care about their team.
Yeah.
Which is the reason I could see
three sheets to the wind up in the stands. Are you really thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I am. I mean, if you and I are sitting together 3 sheets to the wind, and I really didn't want them to lose a home game next year where I could come back and get 3 sheets to the wind with you again, then I'd probably think about it.
Yeah.
Now, you're not going to fix every idiot, but that's like back to our first conversation this morning. I mean, it's easy to throw darts at programs that have bad apples. But my gosh, I think all of us got them. It just depends on which ones of them are stupid enough to get in trouble.
Yeah, I think in this litigious society, everybody gets sued now. So
yeah.
We'll see how it all works. It's interesting, man. That's a pretty harsh penalty right there. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
It's the In-Water Boat Show, Friday, April 28th through Sunday, April 30th at the east side of the Highway 280 Bridge on Lake Martin. Beautiful Landau and Manitou Tritoons at boat show pricing, in the water and ready to ride. Also, Alex City Marine must sacrifice the remaining 2022 models, and your trades are needed with values at an all-time high. Get boat show pricing now through April 28th. Visit AlexCityMarine.com and save huge. Whether you're from Anniston, Oxford, Sylacauga, or Lake Martin, don't miss the Alex City Marine 2023 In-Water Boat Show with the year's best prices.
Country Clipper zero-turn mowers are designed for comfort, accessibility, and ease of use. Only Country Clipper offers your choice of steering options with industry-exclusive joystick steering or twin lever steering. Their patented stand-up deck, standard on every model, allows for quick access to the underside of the deck for routine maintenance. With a wide front step and optional handrail, getting on or off your mower has never been easier. Stop by Fun Carts of Opelika today for a test drive. Country Clipper mowers, designed for you. Fun Carts of Opelika, located at 618 Lee Road 113 in Opelika, Alabama.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Continental Roofing is your local roofer. If you think you have roof damage, call Continental Roofing for a free inspection and let us provide all the paperwork necessary to open your insurance claim. We work very well with all insurance companies, but we work for you. Your interests come first. You have assurance that Continental will install a quality roof at a fair price. In the unlikely case that you have a warranty issue, you can have the peace of mind knowing that Continental Roofing is your local roofer.
No monthly payments for 90 days at Glenn Smith Buick GMC in Opelika. New GMC Sierra Crew Cabs discounted up to $10,000 off. New GMC Terrains up to $5,250 off. And new Buick Encore GX up to $4,750 off. Shop online anytime at glennsmith.com. That's GLYNN Smith.com.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Halfway through the program today, get your calls in, get your comments in. A lot of comments coming in. We'll get to those here. Our program brought to you by Mortgage Pro, the Eric McKinley team, Big Fish Real Estate Group at Lake Martin, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, and J.E. Smith Construction, both residential and commercial. Anthony said, I brought that up because I recently saw a stat where Nebraska had sellout crowds dating back to the 90s. In every game since then, they are a diehard fan base that had very little to cheer about the last 20 years. And, you know, for the most part, according to the standards of what Nebraska football's been, that's true. And saw something else we'll get to. I didn't have it on here about that. Did you read that article about Auburn has lost X number of fans? Like, we've lost more fans than any other school. First of all, how do you even determine how many fans have left a program? It's literally one. I saw Jason Caldwell's response on Twitter. He said, "I've read some junk before in my life.
Yeah.
But this one might rate up there." And even Alabama fans were replying, Randy, going, "Look, I'm an Alabama fan. I'm telling you, Auburn ain't lost no fans. They got diehard fans. And, you know, you may have a few fair weather here and there like us, but I saw several Alabama fans go, that's the biggest crock of crap I've ever heard in my life."
I saw one this morning, and I know we got a phone call holding in, but I saw one this morning through AL.com that was touting that the unemployment number in the state of Alabama is at an all-time low. When 40% of the potential workforce doesn't work. Would somebody explain to me a more useless stat than the unemployment number? Can you?
I don't have an answer for that.
I want to know, when you tout 2.3% unemployment number and 40% of the workforce doesn't work, which means only 60% of us
those people just don't count.
I
mean, I'm asking. I mean, if they're saying it's low, but there's 40% that don't work, are they some type of exception? Or is there some kind of category?
They've checked out of the potential workforce.
Just out of it. Caller, go ahead. You're on the Auburn Blitz.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. How y'all doing?
What's up, Terry?
Hey, Brett, let me tell you who the biggest fair-weather fans in the world are, the Atlanta Braves fans. Because I can remember back in the 80s when you could just walk up and buy a ticket and go right in.
I didn't think you had to buy one. I thought they just open up the gate and let you walk in.
I remember the bumper sticker that people had in Atlanta said, "Go Falcons and take the Braves with you."
Yeah, they were pretty bad back then. Both
yeah, they were pretty
squads.
horrible. What is y'all's prediction on the two kids that's going to Auburn? One from Florida State, the one from Texas Tech.
I mean, I think Auburn's focus right now is on the kid from Florida State.
Okay.
And he'd be a big addition. I'll talk a little bit about that more when I get down to Chaney Johnson. We'll talk about him being added to this roster now with Denver Jones and some of those. But adding him, the Henderson kid from Florida State, would be a massive pickup. So, and not so much sure about the Texas Tech kid, but I definitely think right now Bruce Pearl's full-out focus is on trying to land him.
Well, I still believe that the biggest addition to Auburn's roster is a subtraction, and that's the loss of Wendell Green. Because the team will have more togetherness, and they won't have a guy that hogs the ball all the time, and they'll be more of a team. There ain't no I in team, but there is a me.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's Wendell.
Agree with there, and that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's a reworked roster, and it's going to be like that moving forward every year, I think.
And are you guys overall disappointed in the lack, what seems to be the lack of numbers in the portal? I mean, do y'all expect it to pick up more of a graduate transfer? Because there hasn't been a lot of numbers there. And we were hearing predictions like 8, 10, maybe a dozen players leaving, 8, 10 dozen players coming in. It's been somewhat disappointing, in my opinion.
It's been slow. We talked to Jason last week, and it's been slower than he even thought. So not sure how to read that. I will go back to what Coach Free said right when he got to Auburn. We're not going to just take guys to take them. Even though we've got places to fill and roster holes to fill, we're going to be selective about who we bring into the program, and I think you got to do that. And then Jason even said Friday, he said, I think a lot of coaches now are taking steps back and letting some of these competitions work their way out rather than just saying, hey, I need to go out and grab this guy or grab this guy because, from a developmental standpoint, keeping guys in place rather than going out and trying to find somebody ends up working out better. That's kind of one of the reasons I brought up the 41 for Deion Sanders. Now, he may want all 41 of them gone, but I think at some point in time you got to have enough players to be able to be competitive from a practice standpoint, not just on the field. I don't think anybody's expecting Colorado to win the Pac-12, but I think from a coach standpoint, you got to have enough depth in some positions to be able to field a team.
Well, I want Auburn next year to be an 8-win team and look very impressive because when Gus Malzahn did what he did in the first year, he raised expectations, and we found that he really is an 8-win coach.
Right, or even maybe a 7-win coach. So,
and I don't think that's fair to him or Auburn at all. And I hope that takes place, because I really like what Hugh Freeze has done. He was my man all along. Y'all know that. So he was who I was pulling for, and I'm glad he got the job. So I trust what he's doing. I think he'll do. He's already done something we hadn't seen done in a decade, and that's address the offensive line.
Yeah.
The offensive line maybe is as good as 2013.
It's a whole different look. There's no doubt about it.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, Terry. Appreciate it. Keep the comments coming in, and Luke coming in, Randy, and he said, Randy, I think you're off here. He said, SEC, Auburn, everyone would get sued. Would it stick? Who knows, but it would get done. The SEC is certainly liable, in my opinion. He said, I think it would make administrators more precautious or take more precautions to not let it happen. It's all comes down to lawsuits.
Yeah, and it feels like, and I think all of you are right. I'm not arguing with that, but it also feels like the schools may be going to the SEC to get them to kind of be the one to spearhead the conversation, where each one of them's not the one to have to go.
You know what
and do
I'll
that.
add, and I think Luke hit it on the head, and I think you and I agree. Rushing the field court is cool in theory, but today with the craziness, just
amen. Hey, I didn't think about that.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
mass craziness.
There are things that you and I grew up with, and that life has completely changed. I think about getting on my bike at 10 years old and going and leaving the house at mid-morning, and then come back at night. My mom really not know where I was all day. She may had somebody she could call just to make sure that we were breathing and somebody fed us. Oh, not a chance in the world I would.
Let's go to our next break. Stay tuned. More Auburn Blitz right after this.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
LMG Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
WF Cabinetry in Alex City has immediate openings for first and second shift production roles in addition to immediate openings for Class A CDL drivers with the ability to be at home weekly. We're ready for you to join our family and grow with us. Prior cabinet experience is always welcome. Second shift offers a flexible 10-hour, 4-day work schedule, giving you a great work-life balance right here at home. WF Cabinetry offers excellent health insurance and 401k benefits as well as an employee purchase discount with daily production bonus opportunities. You can apply in person at 2212 Airport Boulevard in Alexander City or call 256-234-7900.
Hey, I'm Jeff Burke, General Manager here at Greenway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Anniston, where it's Ram Truck Month. Save up to $12,176 off Ram 1500 Crew Cab Bighorn. That's a savings of 20%. Or select 1.9% interest for 72 months and save over $13,500 in interest. So come see us for all these deals and more here at Greenway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Anniston.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Couple segments left in today's show. Get your comments in, get your calls in. Auburn taking a more, I guess, narrow focus on who they want to target football-wise in the surrounding area. And you look at the players that Auburn just hadn't even called on the last 2 or 3 years in the surrounding geographic area, the Eufaula's, the Phoenix Cities, the Auburns, the Opelikas, just those type teams. Since Marcus Davis has been back at Auburn, he's making Cam Coleman a priority. The 5-star receiver at Phoenix City, number 4 player in Alabama in the 24 class, number 21 player overall in the country. From a standpoint of and Coleman's kind of responded by saying, hey, look, this guy's made me a priority. You can feel it. Things that we thought would be obvious with the other coaching staffs weren't, and that's the thing that's so, I guess, reassuring with Hugh Freeze and the guys he's brought in, is he's paying attention to the low-hanging fruit. And I'm not saying we'll get Cam Coleman. Auburn also offered safety Rodarius Morgan from Phoenix City, but just the pure fact that we're showing up and showing that, you got a legacy over there, and Patrick Nix is the head coach, you should think that would be a pretty good end for you with those players. And Phoenix City puts out more talented players per capita than any other school in the state, and they're right in your backyard, and you failed. If you're giving them a grade, if you're giving Auburn a grade on the past coaching staffs, they failed horribly at getting those guys to come to Auburn.
Some things seem to be common sense, but common sense is waning in this world. And when you go out there and you get certain leaders, but Hugh Freeze very quickly has changed that conversation. And there are people that work on the beat that I trust and I think have been doing it a very long time, and they know someone that's bad and they know someone that's good, and they can make a determination pretty quickly, and I can read between the lines on what they think of them. And it feels like I couldn't imagine being Jason and some of these other guys that are doing that for a living now. They actually got something to go report on. They got something to write about. Doesn't mean we close on all of them.
Yeah, but they got.
But it's the effort, man. A lot of times it is just, are you willing to compete? And I'll go back to Tommy Tuberville. I think the reason Tommy Tuberville left out was he wasn't willing to compete, with what was coming from Tuscaloosa and Nick Saban. And that's not to knock him, but I think he knew that too. And I think we offered 16, and they offered 16 head-to-head that final year, and Alabama got every single one of them. We got 0. And after that happened, this was before NIL money. Of course, there was cheating going on, but we were cheating too. I mean, if we weren't getting anybody. And so I think Hugh Freeze understands the game and he plays it well. So let's give him a little time. I feel confident that we're moving in the right direction.
I do too. And again, you got to talk to somebody to be in the game. If you're not talking to them, you have no shot. And, you know, we heard the stories across the state on coaches and kids that didn't even know who Brian Harsin was. And, well, if that's the case, you dang sure ain't got a shot at them. So putting themselves in the game, if you put yourself in the game with enough of them, you land them. You know, Walker White's another a big part of this. And, you know, Cam Coleman talked about that on an article I read on 24/7 is that, hey, look, Walker White is the guy pushing out here, and he's talking about he's seen my film and he wants to throw. This guy is going to pay dividends, not from just what he's going to bring to the table athletically, Randy. You watched his press conference when he signed and the things he said. You talking about a polished, refined kid, you know, that happens to be a high 4-star quarterback that is one of the top 11 in the country. That's a big kid, a big, strong kid that's going to come but he's recruiting his rear end off as hard as anybody on the coaching staff.
Well, Scott and I discussed this on Saturday, and I don't know it's not the Wonderlic test. It may be the Wonderlic test.
No, it's the SG test.
The SG test that they took in the NFL, and Bryce Young scored a 98 on it. And
S2, I'm sorry.
And I think
and Stroud scored an 18.
He scored an 18, and Scott said, "Are you surprised Bryce Young scored?" No, I'm really not. I mean, like it'd be like Jalen Hurts. If you told me Jalen Hurts scored really high, I'd be like, yeah, probably so.
S2 cognition.
I mean, stick a mic in front of him and ask him to start talking on any subject whatsoever and watch the way he handles himself.
That's exactly what I said yesterday on the show about it. You know, I guess I don't know if this is the same test as the Wonderlic, but it's the same principle. But the top quarterbacks in the draft class, Bryce Young was tops, 98%. The kid, the Jake Hayner kid, from I can't remember exactly where he's from, 96%. Will Levis, 93%. Jaron Hall from BYU, 93%. Clayton Tune from Houston, 84%. Anthony Richardson from Florida, 79%. Hendon Hooker, 46% from Tennessee. And then C.J. Stroud, 18%. I read off what that executive said yesterday about the NFL executive said about C.J. Stroud. He said, man, that's a deal breaker. He said, red flag. He said, it's a deal breaker. He said, also to go along with the fact that no Ohio State quarterback seems to ever pan out in the NFL. That's a quote from, you know, an anonymous NFL exec, but an NFL exec that they didn't disclose. And, I mean, he's saying this means something.
Yeah, I agree it does. I totally believe it does, and I think it goes on ahead and solidifies Bryce Young as your #1 pick.
Oh, there's no doubt. No question about it. I mean, it's the final break of the show. Stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Hey, I'm Jeff Burt, General Manager here at Greenway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Anniston, where it's Ram Truck Month. Save up to $12,176 off Ram 1500 Crew Cab Bighorn. That's a savings of 20%. Or select 1.9% interest for 72 months and save over $13,500 in interest. So come see us for all these deals and more here at Greenway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Anniston.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce, because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
OGS Tournaments. Russell Marine and State Farm agent Aaron Warren present Crank for Bank 2023, April 1st through July 4th. Win over $1.5 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 50 tag crappie are waiting on you. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or shores of Lake Martin. Get registered now online at crankforbank.com for only $110 for 13 weeks of fishing. It's Crank for Bank 2023.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bugs Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bugs Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bugs Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bugsisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Here comes Sun, Sun's Automotive, the name synonymous with trust and big savings. And right now, get a new 2023 Kia K5 for as low as $399 per month. That's right, $399 per month. Rain or shine, you can buy online anytime at Sun's Automotive. Family owned, family driven.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz final segment of the program. Anthony said Kirk Herbstreit scratching his head on the C.J. Stroud score there. Yeah, that S2 cognition test, I mean, the NFL exec, of course, in that interview was not disclosed, but he's saying, look, that's probably a deal breaker for me now. So I'm assuming it's one of the top 3 up there that we're looking at, you know, drafting Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or whoever they want to put. Those are the 2 names that have been kicked around, the Houston Texans, possibly, whoever it might be, Indianapolis. But for the most part, I totally agree with him. I mean, you score 18% on a cognition test, I'm like, you know, when it gets complex and things have to come down, I'm not sure that you can handle what we need you to handle from a standpoint. But I look over at Bryce Young, and he dang near scored perfect. But like you said, and I said the same thing yesterday on the show, it doesn't take long to figure out when you hear him talk after a game that guy right there is probably the most intelligent guy on the field, including the person interviewing him. So the reason he performed so well, and not only the athletic part of it just is icing on the cake, but when you have the intelligence level of a Bryce Young and you make decisions and you can anticipate things before other people can.
And the emotional state.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I mean,
the emotional state of, and look, they're 2 Alabama quarterbacks, so I'm sitting up here touting the emotional state of 2 Alabama quarterbacks, and you can throw 2 in the mix too. But when you talk about Jalen Hurts and Bryce Young, and you don't get them upset. You ever seen either one of them look like they were ruffled? No. Even when they lost. I'm talking about even when they played poorly.
It's their demeanor.
It is. It's.
Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, go ahead.
Hey guys, War Eagle.
War Eagle, man.
How's Andy doing?
Andy's doing a lot better and making progress every day, and hopefully we see him back here in the near future. So not going to speculate on exactly when, but hopefully get him back sooner than later.
Yeah, I hope to see him back. We're praying for him.
Charles, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, our good friend Andy hopefully be back again, maybe in a few weeks. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. So no pressure, Andy. I know you're watching. So I want to go back down and talk about this. We're not going to have time to get to any of this. But Alabama with another player, a guy that from Alabama, played at Carver. One of the he was on that championship team. I don't remember the year exactly, Randy, but for the most part was a top player and goes to Wichita State and then gets in the transfer portal and decides he's going to go to Alabama, and then he gets arrested on the Strip, second-degree possession of marijuana. Saturday also had firearms in the car. Man, if I don't know where we don't have enough time to dive into it. Luke and I'll be on Sports Blitz tonight, so we'll talk more about it. But you just got done every single day of the March Madness tournament, and in the last half of the SEC schedule, if you're anywhere around the Alabama program dealing with that crap, now you're gonna be caught doing the same thing. Not killing somebody, but you're gonna be caught in a car with firearms and drugs. And you just committed to come and transfer over here. And now Alabama, Nate Oates comes out and says he'll no longer be part of this program, basically saying that he will not be joining the team, and they'll be moving on from Jaquan Walton. I mean, but you know what, Randy? There's consequences to your actions, and I think that's what what people, some out in society think they're untouchable, I guess, or stuff doesn't apply to them.
I'm not saying that our generation was any better because we found our own set of trouble. Would you agree with that?
Of course.
We
didn't have these things.
But there was also a point where I don't feel like the culture has shifted as much as it has now.
It is.
Now, like you pull up social media and you want to know what people are doing in their off time, they'll show it to you. And the culture is eye-opening. What's cool? Like, what's cool now in comparison to what was cool 20 years ago is amazing. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't going on, but I didn't see it, and it wasn't dead in front of me. But I think what that kid's doing right there, unfortunately, I think it's the norm. I think in a lot of these communities and a lot of the people that they're dealing with, it's the norm. And I'm not.
It's a status symbol.
It's what's cool. It's what's expected. It's what, the people that you look up to, it's what they're doing. It's what you're, generationally what they're seeing, I guess. And it just was so much different. I don't have a good answer for it. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I do. I don't.
Well, and the consequences that come with those actions, the coolness part of taking a picture, holding a gun and holding money up and doing stuff like that's one thing. But the amount of power that goes with that, I think that's part of it too, is that there's a power deal involved in having that firearm, saying I got this over you or whatever. So
I want to finish with a positive though. Chaney Johnson, man, I hadn't had opportunity to be on the program. I don't know Chaney. I know he played at Thompson High School, but I know of his family. His family's from right here in the Lake Martin region. His mother was probably the best basketball player that New Site, Horseshoe Bend area ever had. They won a state championship when she was at New Site. Regina Stowe's her name. Yep. They're a great family in this community, the Stowe's family. And I happen to work with, he's not part of the Stowe's family, but Bo Glenn is kin to him. It's a cousin of his as well. They're super people. So I'm saying that to me, I get behind a lot more of the kids that I happen to feel like I've got a connection to. And I think a lot of people in the Tallapoosa County region, New Site, Horseshoe Bend area, we're going to get behind Chaney Johnson. I'm thrilled that he ends up at Auburn. 6'7", got some length, shoots almost 40% from the three, adds some size on the wing that we've been needing there at Auburn. I'm just thrilled that we're getting.
It's a big pickup, no doubt about it. It's going to wrap it up for the Tuesday edition of Auburn Blitz. For Randy, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next time.